Welcome to the video for how to complete a progress note. So come to your Sessions tab. There are two buttons we'll be working with, the Complete button and the Cancel button. You can find both of these buttons not only on your Sessions tab here, but you can find them anywhere in your calendar views here as well. So you can work from whichever view you prefer. The first thing I want to show you is how to cancel a session. This hopefully will not happen very often, but here's how you do it. Just click the Cancel button. Click OK. We need a reason. It's really important to track the reasons. This is important data for us, so just pick whatever. These are just some examples here. Click Save. And that is pretty simple. Might take a second for it to save here. All right. Now let's see how to complete a session. This is what you'll spend most of your time doing, of course, is actually completing them. So find the session you want to complete, click the Complete button, and what will happen is we will be brought to the template for a progress note. And just a quick note that as soon as you click Complete on a session, it is moved from the Sessions tab and all your calendar items. It's just deleted from there and it becomes a progress note. So don't think you've lost it. It's just going to be hiding in this tab now. And also a quick note, we've color-coded these headers here. Brown is for draft, yellow is for submitted. So as the progress note moves through its sort of life cycle, if you will, these headers will change color. If you're viewing it, you'll know what stage it's in. So moving along here, the start time was 1:15. If you need to change it, you can. RecTracker knows for 2 hours. That's what it was set for. Again, if you need to change that, you can. Using your car, for staff that do that, one time is a distinct trip. So there and back is one time. So if you've used your car, please do indicate that so we can compensate you. 2 times is if you had 2 distinct trips. So you went there and back twice in the same session. Session snapshot. This is meant to be a non-clinical overview of the session. I'm just going to paste an example in here. You can either press pause or just read it while I talk. So it's not meant to require the same rules as clinical documentation, so we can be a little bit more freer with it. It's meant to be for the families. It's meant to have a warmer feel to it, give a bit of background, how the client presented, what worked, what didn't. And as I said, meant to be a warmer feel, not so clinical, and for the families. So once you've done that, and only about 2 to 4 sentences. We don't need to have a ton here, but it does need to give the snapshot. We now need to account for our time. So RecTracker knows this is a 2-hour session. We have 120 minutes to account for. Click Add Activity, and we come up with this field here. So let's just say that this particular activity that we did lasted for 110 minutes. You have to choose an activity category. Let's just choose Reminiscence and Life History. And let's just get some sample text to use. Now we're in these activity details. This is where we have to be more clinical. So some basic rules. We can't use names, and we can't use the name of the care home. So that actually those 2 rules apply for up here as well. No names, use client code still, and do not ever use the actual name of the care home. We cannot make conclusions. We can only present our observations. So client presented to enjoy this conversation, or client seemed to. So those are the kinds of things that we need to be mindful of here. In this, we're taking some notes here. Client independently initiated discussion. Client was able to independently move from topic to topic. Client did not need queuing. Maybe that would be different one day to the next. You have to document that. So document the successes, document the challenges as well too. We then have to match this activity with which of the active objectives from the treatment plan this 110 minutes of time applied to. If you find that none of these objectives are relevant, you have to ask yourself why you did this activity. We should always be working to the treatment plan and always making sure that what we are doing is addressing an objective from the treatment plan. So here's the objective that is relevant here, reminiscing, and the objective was for 20 minutes. We did it for 110. Mark it as met. It is equally important that if an objective is unmet, to count that as well. We track all this data. You can see it on the treatment plan. You can see it on what's called the client summary page. It's important data. So whether it was met or unmet, mark it accurately, and we can make our adjustments on the treatment plan given that data. So we've accounted for 110 of the 120 minutes we need to account for. Still 10 minutes left. Click Add Activity again. Another 10 minutes. This time, let's walking indoor. Let's just grab some sample text to use. And here we go. Again, no names, no conclusions, only observations. We did manage to give a bit of context here. Client wasn't sure she could do the entire distance and stated she was tired, but made it 75% of the way. And this is how the activity ended, and that would likely be how the session ended, given that was the last activity. So, objective unmet. So there's a couple things you can do here now. You can save as a draft, or you can send it off to your clinical manager. And sorry, just one more thing. We've accounted for all of our time. So when that happens, this turns green. 120 out of 120. Forgot to mention that. Back to this. Let's just save as a draft, and I'll show you how that works. So, save as draft. That's if you want to come back and fix it up later. You haven't quite finished it yet, and you want to make some changes. So let's, this is the one we were working on. So you'd scroll down, find it, click edit. Here it is, find. You can come back, make any changes you want, and then save and submit to Clinical Manager. And now when you go and find it, way down here, this is us here. It is submitted, no further action required, and you are done.